Manchester United are a funny old football club, aren't they? Losing at home to Everton, who were down to 10 men because two of their players got into a fight. Idrissa Gueye slapping Michael Keane, getting sent off really early doors. And yeah, man, I mean, it's absolutely box office, isn't it? I'm looking at it now. David Moyes finally, God knows how many attempts, getting that away win at Old Trafford as a visiting manager. Of course, loads of pops at it with West Ham, here with Everton. Finally, the stats will be some way. He's had loads of attempts. He's finally got that win, and it turns out he needed 10 men, and he would have done it. Ruben Amorim's side coming into this game in form. Were they unbeaten still? Was it 3 wins and 2 draws? Were we still on that? I think we were. And back down in the trenches. Again, losing to, a good Everton side isn't the end of the world, but losing at home is not great. And down to, when did this happen, this red card? It was really early doors, wasn't it? Like, it was, I'm trying to figure out now, like, I'm looking on SofaScore on the app. It was really, so it was in the 13th minute. Not only that as well, in the 10th minute, in the opening 10 minutes, Seamus Coleman had to come off, so their skipper, their leader, who was presumably brought back into the team to see them through what is a high profile game at Old Trafford. He came off and they were forced into a change in 10 minutes. So O'Brien comes on for Coleman as his countryman. And then, very peculiar. I mean, let's talk about it now, man, because this was weird, bro. Violent conduct, dismissal, Idrissa Gueye goes up to Michael Keane. Okay, so it was a missed pass. It was a bit of a confusion at the back. It wasn't the end of the world, like someone let a pass go and basically it was a miscommunication. It didn't lead to a goal. I think it led to a corner, maybe, or maybe a missed chance. It really wasn't the end of the world. But Idrissa Gueye, shouts at Keane saying he's done something wrong, whatever. In the action, it was his error. Keane sort of argues back and they just sort of lock horns and he just Keane gives him a little push, but he sort of slaps him on the neck. Idrissa Gueye sort of slaps Keane on the neck. And to be honest, everyone who watched and analysed that action was probably should just be a yellow really, shouldn't it? There's two teammates fighting. They got split up by Pickford and the other teammates. It should be loathed am I to align myself with Jamie Carragher, who analysed it at halftime. But the ref should have been come on boys. You've just started this game here, and I'm going to give you a yellow because you can't do that to him. But let's stop this. But the truth is, right, it's because they were teammates. If Idrissa Gueye did that to an opposition player, a sort of deliberate slap to the sort of head-neck area, the opposition player, as it always happens in football, would be rolling around trying to let the ref know this guy's put his hand to my face. And then you'd be like, well, why has he done that? Silly boy, he's going to get sent off. I think genuinely because it's a teammate, you think, leave him alone, let him off, mate. Do you know what I mean? But I suppose if you do it to an opposition player, a red card, a dismissal, you got to do the same for your own teammate, I suppose. So he gets sent off, and you're thinking, this game's over. Man United have been playing okay lately. I know they're missing Seshko, but, it's not a massive miss. And Cunha, although Cunha's not been, scoring loads of goals, he's been helping the attack. So, I don't know why Mason Mount didn't start this game, by the way. I think he would have been a shoo-in. In the absence of those two players, I thought Mount would have been a shoo-in to start in the front three. But, I don't pretend to understand Ruben Amorim at all. But, so 13th minute, they get the player sent off. Doesn't take long. James Garner had a great game. As I say, assisting Kieran Dewsbury-Hall in what was an amazing, really solo goal. What a signing he's been for them. Of course, me as a Chelsea fan, as I can say, I know all about him. I don't know that much about him. I know he was a rotational player for Maresca's first season at Chelsea. For the conference. He was an important player in the Conference League win, I think did he go? Yeah, of course he went to the Club World Cup. So he won 2 trophies in one season, kid, and he just wasn't an important starting player. He wasn't sort of that level at Chelsea, and I think a lot of Chelsea fans were, by the end, were quite thankful for his service. Obviously, he won the title in the Championship with Leicester and Maresca, so he was obviously he was like the Cole Palmer of that season in the Championship. It's different, you know, but he's not necessarily the star player for an Everton side that shouldn't go down. They should be comfortable in the league. But he's like one of the star players. And I tell you what, he's got a banger in him, kid, in Dewsbury-Hall. And that was a goal worthy of winning away at Old Trafford, especially when you're down to 10 men. He ran his socks off. I'm looking on SofaScore, he's the second highest rated player. For me, he would have been man of the match if it wasn't for Jordan Pickford in goal, who had an amazing game. So yeah, like they essentially see it out, right? And there's a lot of attacking momentum in the second half of United. They come out swinging, Man United. It's pretty even in the first half, despite the early dismissal. So Amorim obviously gets into them at half time. But yeah, they have chances, but they defend well. And ultimately, yeah, like let's talk about Jordan Pickford, because he had what can only be described as an amazing game. And I was chatting to my mate, who's a United fan, and I was saying, like, he probably didn't want to hear me like wax lyrical about Pickford at the time, but I think Pickford's underrated. The thing is with Jordan Pickford in goal, it's always like, well, the main narrative is he's never let England down. You know, he's been a good servant for England, and that's true. But I think he's just really good. He's got to be 30 odd now, isn't he? He's not young anymore. But I think his biggest problem for a long time, Pickford, was he was just too overly jacked up. Like he had too many red balls before kick-off, and he was just a bit mental. But he seemed to calm down a little bit. He's an amazing shot stopper, which of course he demonstrated in this game, you know, over and over and over. And he's great with the ball at his feet, and he's quite, you know, commanding, he's aggressive, he's a good character, he's actually quite funny as well. He loves a bit of the bants on the pitch. I'm just going to quickly look at him now. Like, you know, you look at the opposite number, Lamans, who's been good for Man United since coming in, but the goal he conceded, though it was a wonder goal for Dewsbury-Hall, maybe if he had a strong hand, Pickford might have saved it, basically. I'm looking at Gueye, he got a 3 rating. I've never seen a 3 rating on SofaScore before. Maybe if it was an opposition player, maybe it would have been a 5.6, because he slapped his own player, it goes down to a 3. But yeah, Jordan Pickford, he got an 8.6 rating on SofaScore. He prevented 1.85 goals, which is actually huge. He made 6 saves. 3 from inside the box, made 2 punches, he completed 2 out of his 2 run-outs. Just an amazing performance from Jordan Pickford. And they get the W, the first win away at Old Trafford for David Moyes. He finally gets that monkey off his back. And yeah, I mean, it's sort of deserved, really. I mean, congratulations to Everton, Dewsbury-Hall. Weird situation with I think it's the 3rd time in Premier League history that a player's been sent off for fighting with their own teammate. I mean, they will have to have some serious. I mean, he's 35 now, just Gueye as well. I don't know, like he should not be doing that. But let's talk about Man United then. United fans fuming at the reaction from Amorim. You know, you could hear Gary Neville on co-coms whining about Dalot coming on. I mean, it was weird. I get the fact how Amorim's a dogmatic, philosophical manager that wants to play his way or the highway. I'm playing a 3-4-2-1. That's my formation. End of discussion. We can play against, you know, lesser opposition. We can play against bigger opposition or like harder opposition. I've got a way that this tactics and shape works out for all those opponents. Fine, I'm willing to like concede to that, you know, and often formation is a state of mind in the modern game, like, you know, Guardiola won the treble playing a sort of back 3, and, you know, Maresca at Chelsea sort of plays a back 3, even, you know, sometimes you see Mikel Arteta's Arsenal, like Lewis Skelly or Calafiori going into the midfield and sort of creates a back 3. I get it, whatever, it's sort of like a state of mind. But in those game states, when you're a man up at home against inferior opposition, I'm sorry, I know we all banter Man United, but in terms of the players that Everton have got and the players that Man United have got, the fact how they're at home with better players and now a man up for the entirety of the game, and they're not a man up because the opposition players, you know, injured one of your players and sent them off and he got dismissed. No, they're literally slapping each other and getting sent off. Change the shape. Go for overloads. Do you know what I mean? You can see, you know, Pickford's having a worldie and they're relying on them to do well and they're defending deep. Change the shape. Change the, you know, go for a back four or don't use wing backs for width. Use wingers, do an overload in the middle of the park or like one flank, and to just stay with your philosophy, with your plan, and then, you know, bring on like Dallo and, you know, Mount came on, I think he made them a little bit better, but it's just raising questions again. You know, Man United, mate, I don't think they're going to get Champions League football. They might get Europe again. They might get, because the league, if you look at the league table, it's mental, man. I can't get my head around this Premier League table at the moment. It's I'm just quickly going to search it while I speak to you now, because it's all over the gaff, mate. I think, I mean, the harrowing truth, that sobering potential truth that I think Arsenal are going to win the league. I don't think City have got the sand to catch up with them, and I don't think Chelsea are ready. But, you know, you've still got that clump at the team. You know, Man United, Tottenham, and Liverpool mid-table. Liverpool 12th. 12th, Liverpool. Forest, who just slapped up, you know, Liverpool at Anfield, they're in 16th. Wolves look like they can go down. Yeah, I mean, Wolves are going to go down. They've got 2 points. So, yeah, an established Premier League team is going to go down, probably followed by 2 other promoted teams in Burnley and Leeds. I think West Ham will claw their way out. I think that's the 3 that will go down, the 3 that are in the relegation zone. And ultimately, you've got Newcastle in 14th. They'll still be dreaming of a Conference League spot and beyond, maybe. I suppose Man United, Tottenham and Liverpool, they'll be all trying to get Europe. But, you know, the likes of Villa, Palace, Brighton, Sunderland and Bournemouth are all above them. It's a really weird and interesting Premier League table. Anyway, I had to react and talk about that game because it was absolutely crazy. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for joining me here on Football Yannick. I'm going to try and upload most days. So do like, subscribe, hype the video up, all that nice stuff, mate. And I'll see you back here soon. Peace.